So you might be wondering, why are you taking this apart? Why are you ripping it up? Why are you ruining it? What I'm gonna be doing is making patterns out of this to make my own Air Jordan 1 low. So I ripped this bad boy, ripped it right off the sole, right? So I would have recorded it, but you know, I can't just rip it right off the screen. So first step, rip the bottom right off, use my handy dandy scissors. All these tools are gonna be in my website, link down in the description, Laced Up Customs. I'm using scissors just to cut all this up. But now that the upper is right here, I'm just gonna cut the tongue right off because I'm gonna be using this for other projects. Oh no, oh no. Ah, boom, we got a super clean tongue, but we aren't gonna be using this, so we're just gonna, that didn't go very far. We got an open Jordan and this is it. We're just gonna put our foot in just like that and it's done. Okay, so you might be wondering, yo, what are you doing? I'm gonna be ripping this right out. As you can see, I already started on it. There's just thread right there that I gotta rip right through. I'm gonna be taking the toe off of the upper and starting to make a pattern out of that. So we need the toe and then the toe little puff around that as well to make our two patterns. So we got our upper, right? It's looking pretty good, but we still gotta do the other side. And if you do wanna learn this full process, join my online shoemaking course, link down in the description. It's like when you got big old fingers and you're doing this small little shoe. So we got our toe, we cut it off very clean. It's all in one piece. Now the back piece, we gotta take this all apart. The heel is all deformed because when I ripped it out, I just grabbed it and I just ripped it out. No, that's just from the solution that I used to rip it out, kind of deformed it, whatever. But we're gonna be using that still. We just gotta cut the heel right off. We're gonna use our handy dandy scissors, and then we'll be fine. So I'm just gonna start cut on the upper right here. We're also gonna be using some of this other stuff too for maybe other projects, so I will keep it in a drawer. That's what I do. I like to keep all these pieces, so if we do need to make patterns for other shoes, we always have them there and we don't have to go get other shoes, old shoes, new shoes. Now where people have a problem with this is they don't take their time and they ruin all the pieces. So say that I was cutting right through here and just cut right through the Nike sign. We don't have a Nike sign, it's messed up and you don't have an accurate reading. So right through here, you gotta take your time, take those calm breaths and just go right through it because it does take a lot of time. People like to rush and just rip right through stuff, right? And it's gonna be messed up. It's not gonna work out right. So get your X-Acto knife, get your scissors, get your seam ripper, get your hammer. See, your hammer works too. If you just sit it down, right? And you just, it almost cut right through. If you maybe get the back. But that being said, we're gonna get the seam ripper, right? And just cut right through. We're gonna be done. Cut it all out, cut them all nice and clean, and then we're gonna make our patterns. So this is it right here. It's really thick paper that's very durable and long lasting. Now I use all of my patterns on this paper just because it lasts and it doesn't get messed up. So this tracing period normally takes me 4 different tries because what I do is I gotta trace them all out, then I gotta cut them out onto the leather, stitch them up. They'll be all messed up the first 2 times. I gotta go back throughout that process until I finally measure and fine tune the patterns to where I like it. Now this step is very crucial because if I do trace it out wrong or unmeasured, it will, you know, be a little bit different and they won't measure out correctly or trace out correctly. Once I put them on leather, put all the pieces together. So right here, I definitely got to take my time. I got to trace everything out. And there are a lot of different measurements that I do add, take away from all the materials that are behind the scenes. If you want to learn how to do that, check out my shoemaking course. I have to go throughout this whole process right now. So all that I'm going to be doing is tracing it out, measuring this all up, getting everything right because I want it to be, you know, as perfect as possible. So we're going to trace this all out and get it ready onto the paper. So now that we have everything traced out, I'm gonna cut them out and get them ready. So I have now cut out all the patterns and I traced them all on my leather material. This is what they look like at the very end. You got your quarter panels, you got your toast, but I did end up stitching it all together. So now we're at this part. As you can see, I cut it out, I stitched it all together, and there's a lot of different changes I gotta do. And it's not how I want it to be. Even though it's the same exact pattern, same exact shape that I traced out, I'm not a fan of it and I don't want my shoe to look like that. I want it to be a little bit more accurate than how the leather came out after ripping it up. So I got some more changes changes to do. As you can see though, I did stitch the Nike sign on already, and I have a lot of different measurement marks that I've been measuring on here, but I already got the 2 pieces on the toe as accurate as possible, as well as a tongue. That isn't too hard to measure. All you gotta do is trace it around. Boom, there you go, you got your tongue. But for the back part, the upper, this is the area that I want to make as accurate as possible. So this is going to take about 3 or 4 different other tries until I fully get it down to perfect. As I said, if you're interested, check out my website to get your full Air Jordan 1 pattern. But for right now, I'm going to be tracing this out a couple more times. Now you might be wondering, how do I know that the patterns are exactly perfect, as accurate as I want it to be? Well, what I do is I last every single round. So I'll cut out the pattern and I will actually last it and make my own shoe from that and see how the pattern looks, how it feels on the last, and then from there I'll take it off and I'll pretty much remeasure it and do it all again. So I've done this for about 4 times now. I got it as accurate as possible. As you can see, as I said, I'm using my last. All that I'm doing is I'm pretty much just doing the lasting process over and over and over until I get it nice and perfect for this Air Jordan 1 Low. And this was also the same process that I've gone through every other shoe that you see on my channel. Unless I already did that size and I already have the pattern made, I pretty much have to go throughout this process to make all the shoe patterns, especially for the pink and white Air Jordan Lows that you might have seen in a previous video. That was the Stingray and Python skin. Those came out really cool, but I had to make those all from scratch. I had to cut the shoe apart and pretty much draw it out, measure it out. And the same process with that shoe was applied with this one. I just kept on lasting it, kept on making the patterns until it was as accurate as possible. And another plug, check out my shoemaking course if you want to learn this full process as well as the shoemaking process. But this is what I do. This is the behind the scenes. Now let's go to the final result. So now that I'm done with making the pattern, I put them in my own folders. This says size 8 Travis Scott Jordan Low, so I know what pattern it is. I don't get it mixed up with anything, and also it's all in here, so it's nice and tidy, nice and clean. But this is pretty much the final result. So I just have all the pieces, individual pieces. As you can see, they're all labeled, but I'm super happy with the outcome, the end result. I think they came out really cool. Now this is going to be a shoe for the future, so I don't want to give that away, but I've already started on it. I've already got it in the process. Now the next video, you don't want to miss out on that. That's going to be a big surprise. You might have seen it on my Instagram. I haven't talked about it yet on my YouTube, but that's going to be the next video. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're growing super fast and I appreciate all the support. If you want to join the shoemaking course or get your own patterns, check the links down below. But thanks for watching and have a great day.